When most people think of the word brand, the first thing that comes to mind is some type of an item, like the lay organization's logo or pin. While our logo is indeed a key brand element and typically the most immediate visual association with the lay organization, there's still much more to branding than just the copywriting of the lay pin. As an entrepreneur, it is important in every endeavor I made that the team understood that making a mark on the customers or the audience minds is highly valuable. So with that concept in mind, it will be my goal as your president to work with the Director of Public Relations and the executive team towards creating a recognizable, trusted, and consistent image for the lay organization. Understanding the mission and the purpose of the lay organization and that it is a movement providing a wealth of opportunities for laity within the inner court walls of the AME Church. Our goals are to include study, training, worship, fellowship, and service at all levels. And our aim is to be Christ-centered and to strengthen the church. Also, our concern is for the total church and to maintain a co-partnering relationship among clergy and laity. Now, notice that everything I spoke to only references what we've been doing inside the church and not a whole lot of focus on the outside of the church, which I identify as outer court ministry. The purpose of branding outside the four walls of the church is to make sure that what others perceive about the lay organization is in line with our hearts and what we believe we have been called to do in our communities and our realm of influence. Ultimately, it is about telling our organization's story in a way that resonates with those whom we want to serve. My platform effort will also help connect with the generations that's presently absent, like the millennials and the up-and-coming Gen Zers. As your president, here's what I would like to implement as an ongoing practice to expand the lay organization as a brand. First is what I call developing the scope of work through planning. And that is understanding that once we are clear about our mission and who we serve, then the next step is to clearly define this model and document it so that we remain consistent across the board and can share our brand easily throughout the different levels of the church. This process may require several lengthy discussions, but it's worth every single moment. Now, as we're molding this scope of work for a deliverable, there are some key elements to consider. First, the discovery phase, and that is gathering clear data from our elders and the soldiers whose shoulders we've stood on, taking a look at everything current that would even be considered a brand. And then second is the survey phase, taking into account thoughts on what the inner court members think of us today, and then identifying our target audience for tomorrow. Third is creating the branding guide. Once we are clear on our current brand and how we want to be perceived by others, we must create a branding guide that details our research, our findings, and our core topics defined. And finally, we are prepared to execute. Now that we have everything that we researched and created and documented, we must refine our brand values, comparing it to everything I mentioned earlier as who we are. Then execute publicly from our online platforms to even verbal communication. The idea for branding is for current and potential members to experience the same clear narrative, no matter how they interact with the lay organization. Encountering a consistent message allow those who are in the church and outside of the church to grow familiar with the lay organization, understanding our purpose and leaving feeling inspired and yearning for more. We can do this because we're better together. So join me in this spiritual quest as we work to expand the lay organization as a community brand, one that's recognized for greater works in social engagement, activism, as well as voter initiatives. Thank you so much for your time. I am Simeon Roden. Please consider me as your candidate for the next connectional lay president of the AME Church.